Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Oh, as you can see, I'm sweating pretty bad because today I did something I didn't think was possible. I actually ran 5 kilometers, I think, approximately 5. Now, for many of you, that must not be anything great, because obviously people run 10 kilometers, they do half a marathon. I myself used to run when I was in Dubai. I used to do half marathon distances. I was training under a professional coach. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook or who have been my friends for, I think, 6-7 years, know I used to train every day for literally 6 hours, every alternate day, 6 to 8 hours, 3 times a week. Oh, and I did the longest distance, that was, I think, 52 or 54 kilometers barefoot, walking, stopping, walking, stopping. I did it barefoot. So now what is so great about me doing 5 kilometers? I'll tell you what's so great. And this is something that I didn't tell anyone except my wife and maybe my relatives and close people. I was actually dying. I know you must be thinking like, yeah, right, you're dying. I'll explain to you. If you follow me, you would know that I had a bariatric surgery. Okay, means my stomach was cut and made small. Okay, so before my bariatric surgery, whenever they do have a surgery, they have a I don't know what you call that, endoscopy or something, where they put a tube through your mouth all the way to your stomach. They push a long tube. You can see that video. It is on YouTube, my bariatric surgery, where they actually shove this long tube from here all the way to down. And it's fitted with a camera to see if you have any lacerations or you have any cuts or ulcers. Because if you do, they cannot conduct the operation. Okay, so it was done and they found nothing. The one thing which I didn't tell even the doctor was, even at that time, that I had a case whereby whenever I sit in the toilet, because I used to sit for very long durations, I used to sit, read books, play games. I used to sit for very long. You don't believe, I used to sit in the toilet for 1.5 hours sometimes. Sunlight, 1.5 hours. So over the years of sitting so long, I started to notice, blood coming out. Okay, blood coming out in my stool. And at first I was like, what the fuck is this? But eventually what I noticed is every time I'd go to the toilet, there was blood. Okay, but it was not like, I don't know, I never took it like so seriously, but I did know that I was bleeding, and I just didn't want to tell because it was so embarrassing. I mean, what am I going to show? My bum hole to a doctor, or are they going to put stuff inside my ass to check? So I just didn't want the drama. So over the years I just let it go. However, what I didn't know at that time and what I know now is that impacted my stamina, that impacted my ability to even walk a distance. I was not able to run, do exercise in the gym, because I had low blood count, red blood cells. I had low red blood cells, and I used to always wonder why I don't have any stamina. And even when I went into training, I didn't have any stamina. I did take EPO, erythropoietin. That is what Lance Armstrong took. That was to get my blood count up. Okay, but I could afford it at that time. So this went on. Then after that, I stopped my exercise, and I came to Thailand. It was then I still used to have blood, but it was like a normal thing. I just got used to it. I was like, okay, fuck this. However, after I did my surgery, and I came back home. After your surgery, you don't eat food at all. Okay, you just don't eat food at all. You just live on liquid diet for the first 2 months. Okay, very soft food, like just mashed potatoes, or the first month is just milk. Okay, just like porridge, oats, or protein milk. Okay, so the first month was just that. Second month, soft food. So then slowly I transitioned into eating normal. Once I transitioned into eating normal, that was where the bleeding started again. But this time, it was really bad. It was very, very bad. I mean, this will sound very graphic to you. If you don't want, just don't listen. But when I used to sit on the stool, and this is the graphic part, just warning you. When I sit on the stool, the Indian style stool, I used to just look what is happening. Blood would just come gushing out as if I opened a tap, and blood would just start pouring. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like just drops and drops and drops. And it started to get me worried. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I still kept quiet about it. I was still worried. Many times my undergarment would be stained with blood. I was really worried. But I'll tell you, I try to not think about it until it started to impact me. Very soon I was, now I'm walking. Very soon I was not able to walk. And if I would walk, I would get dizzy. And it came to the part where if I would climb the stairs of my house, just climb up and carry a bag, I'd be huffing and puffing. My heart would beat very violently, as if I just ran a long distance. I'd get dizzy. I'd have to sit down. Sometimes I'd even have to lie down and sleep for some time. I became so weak that my wife told me that my feet were like pale yellow. My fingers were pale yellow. I wouldn't have the energy to do a video. When I would make a video, even talking, I'd speak for 15 minutes and I'd be exhausted. I'd be really exhausted. If I'd eat anything, I couldn't eat even a little bit more because I'd be tired. Because obviously blood is going to different parts of the body. Forget sex. Sex was out of the question. I couldn't even think of getting romantic with my wife. My wife started to notice I was getting pale. And one fine day, when I was walking up, I started to get dizzy. I'm just talking of the stairs of the house. You can hear my baby. This is the crazy part. She's screaming because she wants attention. Okay, so it came to the part where, yes. It came to the part where it was so bad that I got dizzy. I became pale white. It was bad. It was really bad. And that is where I couldn't stand. I just sat down. I was breathing heavy. And my wife really got worried. She said, what is wrong? Tell me what is wrong. Finally, I told her. To which she told me she did notice my shorts with blood. But she was afraid to ask. Because, she does the laundry. So finally, she pleaded, begged, irritated me, ate my head. And we finally went to the doctor. Okay? Went to the doctor, went to the government doctor. And they said the thing which I hated the most, which I didn't want. They said, you'll have to give you a stool, the stool they have to give for sampling. I hate that. I just fucking hate it. I mean, you're collecting your own shit, man. Come on. I was like, fuck, do I actually have to do that? You'd not believe it took me it took me 3 to 4 days just to think how to get it. Oh god. Just imagine you're gonna shit and it comes on your hand and all that stuff. It was disgusting. And I was so fucking embarrassed. Well, I had to do it. Managed to collect it. I don't want to get into that. I just find it so disgusting. I might puke now if I talk about it. But yeah, eventually put it in a tin, in that plastic tin, made sure it was clean. I was so embarrassed. I covered it in tons of tissue. I kept it hidden. I remember giving it to the nurse. She was wondering why I kept in so many tissues. She opened it just to see that there was no fecal matter outside. There was none. I gave it clean. So, gave it. The diagnosis was, yes, you are bleeding. I was like, yeah, I told you. And then they suggested we need to push a tube out through your backside and then check where. I was like, no fucking way, you're not doing that. I'm not putting any tube up my asshole. So I tried to find a solution. The only solution that I found viable finally through some doctor was they gave this 2 tablets. One was for increasing the blood count. The other one I think was for softening the stool or something. I'm not too sure. So I asked for that doctor. I asked for that. They gave me a 2-week supply. I asked my wife to figure out where we could get more because every time I didn't want to go to the doctor. Went for 2 weeks. We couldn't get. Had to go back to the doctor. Wasted a whole fucking day sitting there. I hate that. And I hate the bureaucracy of taking money just to give a solution. So again, 2 weeks, again I had to go. So finally I was like, wife, we'll pay money, we'll bribe someone, just get the fucking medicine. I don't want to go again. The bleeding was still there. It was still, however, fortunately it started to decrease. I think after the first week, started to decrease. And now it has been, I think 4-5 months, let's say 6 months. Now it has stopped. And I'll tell you this, the very fact that I was able to run 5 kilometers is a miracle. Because you may not know how serious it was. But I literally, seriously, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, okay? I called up my cousins, I called up the people I knew, and I told them, in case I die, on Facebook you have this legacy feature where if you die, the person who you hand over your Facebook can operate your Facebook. I'd given the Facebook, social media, everything to my wife and to my other relatives who are close to me. I told them, if anything happens, please promise me you'll take care of my child. Not financially, but at least guide. I had given my wife access to my bank accounts. I told her what is to be done. It was a very difficult phase, man. Difficult phase, not because I'm afraid of death. You have to die. I have embraced that reality after 2011. But when you have a baby and you begin to think, who'll take care of that small little child? My wife will have to go being a farmer, and who'll take care? She'll have to work maybe someplace. Baby will be with her parents. So yeah, but losing so much blood every single day. I used to go to the toilet at least 2 to 3 times. Blood used to pour like you're opening a faucet, and I used to come pale white, and my heart would be beating violently, and I just couldn't walk. On a given day, I would sleep at least 4-5 times just lying down, because even if I walked just a simple distance like this, I'd be incredibly weak, very weak. I mean, my head was turning. I remember going to the doctor and he said, your blood count is at some 2% something. I don't know. It was very low. He says the lowest it should go is 6 or something, the blood count. 4 is danger. Yours is at 2. So yeah, The reason I didn't want to share the problem online is because who the fuck cares? Nobody gives a fuck about your problem. And the reason I didn't want to go to the doctor is because it's bloody embarrassing. I mean, the whole process was disgusting, collecting your shit and all that stuff. But even more than that was, I didn't want anyone putting tubes up my ass and checking and digging, and I don't know. That's just not my thing, man. So anyway, now fortunately I'm okay. Today is a shock because I was able to run 5 kilometers. I was not able to even walk 100 meters. You put on a very strong face when you show a video or when you show yourself online. You always put a perfect image. Nobody knew how scared or worrisome that situation was. I'd put a video and normal video. I had to work day to day, but I'd be dead exhausted, absolutely exhausted by the time it would finish. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, nothing. So yeah, I was told by the doctor that you will die of a heart attack, or you'll just die of, you have very low blood count, you can't survive. So, and I knew that was happening because I was becoming pale white. I couldn't carry the groceries, man. Just imagine, I couldn't carry the groceries. I would just carry and I would be like, it was bad. So anyway, guys, just thought I'd share this with you. I don't know if this has a moral of the story or there's anything worthwhile telling you, but I think the only focus which I told you is, as you become older, the more focus is towards your health. So don't fuck that up. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, guys, put your thoughts, put your comments down below. I would love to read what you have to say, good, bad, ugly. This is me signing off for now. Take care.